the hands of Mercer. You got Menace, you got Mishaw ready to tip things off at center court. Great crowd on hand here in Blacksburg, and let's have some fun.
Both teams like to play man-to-man. Both teams like to get up and down. This should be fun, partner.
Mishaw will start it at the top for Virginia Tech. And a turnover early for the Hokies. Couldn't find Lonnie White.
Hokies wanting to bounce back from that loss to Iowa in Charlotte.
Mac, what do you think it is for the Bulldogs to come into a place like Castle Coliseum, intimidating crowd on the road, a place where, frankly, Virginia Tech does not lose a lot of games in the last couple of seasons, and you just got to go out here and play against a pretty good basketball team.
It'll be an uphill battle, and of course they've been through so much this fall, and we'll talk about that as the game goes on. But they know they've got an uphill battle here tonight as well as for this season.
There's Lonnie White, the transfer out of Utah. Finds Carleigh Wenzel. Off to the sophomore Karis Baker. And a traveling violation against Matilda Ekh. You know, Mac, they're going to look to get her going tonight. Struggled a little bit against Iowa. The Hawkeyes did a really nice job of really closing her off.
Yeah, Matilda struggled against Iowa, but we've seen her go off for big numbers, and she is certainly capable, and she is a big part of this Virginia Tech offense for this season.
There's Skylar Bailey with the basketball, a bounce pass inside for Menace. And here's that matchup we were talking about. And a traveling violation as Rose Mishaw hits the deck.
Yeah, O'Grady for Iowa with her size at 6'5", but she was a much bigger body player than Menace is, but she really gave the Hokies fits, went 9 for 9, and really was the difference in the game in Charlotte.
Some early foul trouble down in Charlotte for Rose Mishaw. Only played 20 minutes in the game. Sat a big chunk of that second quarter against the Hawkeyes. It's going to be key to keep her on the floor tonight.
Yeah, all season long we're going to say the same thing. Mishaw has to be on the floor about 30 minutes a game.
Another turnover for Virginia Tech. Here come the Bulldogs in transition. Swift draws the foul and the bucket.
Swift, a little point guard out of Philadelphia. She's been to a few different schools, Gio.
She's on her 5th stop. That is the new era of collegiate athletics right there. But a nice take to the tin for Swift.
Yeah, getting her first start. Really quick point guard, great defender, but a nice job of driving and using her body, playing through the contact.
Spent 2019-2020 before COVID at FIU. Can't connect on the free throw. Ended up at Panola Community College. Played 2 years at Norfolk State. Last year at Graceland and NAIA. And now here she is at UNC Asheville. And a push off.
3 turnovers already for the Hokies.
And now a look at Virginia Tech's first-year head coach, Megan Duffy. 3 NCAA tournament appearances, 3 WNIT appearances, 8th year as a head coach. 2 years at Miami of Ohio, 5 at Marquette, and here she is in Blacksburg.
And her team's enthusiasm and intensity are a direct reflection of her. Practice is extremely up-tempo for the Hokies.
Here's Nelson in transition. Lays it up and in.
Coming off the bench. She had a couple big steals in Charlotte against Iowa on Sunday afternoon.
Tie game at 2 here in Blacksburg. And we got a foul called inside against Rose Mishaw.
And that's the kind of foul she's got to avoid. Menace was going to catch the ball 5 feet off the block. And we see her pushing a little bit. She's already out of position. Let her go. You don't have to give her that last little bit of push. And an early foul for Rose Mishaw.
Crowd didn't like it, Mac, but do they ever?
No, they didn't. But the crowd in this case was wrong.
Here's Swift. Right wing 3 in the air. Too strong for Tough. Bailey can't connect. Last touch by Virginia Tech will stay right here.
Yeah, Jordan Tuft and Alana Swift into the lineup for Trinity Fields and Dakota McCon. Coach shaking up the lineup, and she's had a good long period to work on the offense, which she thought was the big problem at Mercer.
There's Bailey once again off the mark. Virginia Tech looking to run, and Wenzel was looking for Nelson, just airmailed it. And now a look at UNC Asheville head coach Tadisha Lewis, Matt.
She was great to talk to. What enthusiasm. She understands the challenge, and she did a great job at Elizabeth City State, a Division II school in eastern North Carolina. Now she's as far west in North Carolina as you can go.
And an offensive foul against Swift. How about Nelson?
Yeah, Mackie Nelson with 2 big defensive plays. She had the steal and the layup, and now takes the charge going the other way. Hokies get it back after their 4th turnover on the last possession.
Nelson ranked number 65 in ESPN Hoops Girls rankings in the class of 2023. A red shirt last season for Virginia Tech. Here's Suffren.
I think she's going to be a big part of this offense. She is so fast, so quick, so strong. She can create offense on her own.
Explosive, I think, is the best adjective to describe Samyha Suffren.
See, that's why you're the play-by-play guy.
Here's Swift. Wilson stands straight away.
Wilson's a good player, got 3-point range. Couldn't get loose that time from Karis Baker's defense.
The screen for Bailey. Off the mark. Fight for the rebound. And a foul.
Nelson again knocking the ball away. And this time Menace picks up the foul for UNC Asheville.
You know, something really interesting about the Bulldogs as Menace checks out for UNC Asheville. Something very interesting for the Bulldogs. Played 14 deep in the season opening loss against Mercer. 9 players with double-digit minutes, 10 different scorers. Still trying to find their way, find who's the best fit to be on the floor.
Yeah, this is their early season. That's what coaches are doing, experimenting. And how about that?
Another offensive foul.
3 times Mackenzie Nelson has come away. 2 charges, a steal, and knocked the loose ball away that should have counted as a steal on the last possession.
Two-point lead for Virginia Tech. Nelson off to Suffren. Baker sets the screen, step back, and it got blocked. Cal Peterson cleans it up. And a kick ball.
Skylar Bailey with the block right there. Nelson and Suffren have given the Hokies a little bit of boost here, but it really hasn't paid off too much on the offensive end yet.
And a foul before an inbound could be had.
Away from the ball, Jordan Tough hold.
See what the Hokies draw up on the baseline out of bounds. Lobbed into Baker, right back to Nelson. Now it's Suffren. Goes away from the screen, the teardrop. Can't find the bottom of the barrel. Jordan Tough engineering the offense for Asheville. McCann on the left wing, checked by Nelson, 10 seconds left to shoot. Driving at Baker. Picks up her dribble. What a move. Left elbow jumper off the bacon home for Orion Bagna.
Orion Bagna is really a nice player. Just a freshman, and Coach Lewis loves this girl.
And one on the other side for Samyha Suffren on the baseline drive.
Offense a little stagnant. Just beat your man one-on-one and get all the way to the rim.
We'll step aside here in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech up by 2 in the first quarter. UNC Asheville Bulldogs team was displaced, and they've had so much stirring to open up their season, but here they are in Blacksburg ready to play some basketball.
Yeah, I don't even know what to compare this to. You see, they went to Asheville, went to Charlotte and practiced all over the place. They were out of their homes for a long period of time. The only thing I can compare this to, I remember Dave Dickerson taking over Tulane after Katrina, and they had to move their entire operation to Texas. Very similar situation. So this team has to get better as a basketball team, but they've already overcome a lot.
Absolutely. A resilient bunch, no doubt. Things like this maybe help you come together as a team, especially with so many newcomers, 7 new faces.
Yeah, Coach Lewis said that many days at a hotel with the team might have been too much bonding.
Here comes Virginia Tech up the floor. Carleigh Wenzel kicks out Peterson for 3. You bet!
Kale Peterson does not play like a freshman, and she plays bigger than her 6-foot listed height, too.
12 points in the season opener against UNCW. 2 for 3 from the floor against Iowa. Wenzel in transition. No doubt. And a timeout on the floor. Tynesha Lewis wants to talk things over. Virginia Tech with a couple of quick buckets here in Blacksburg. Welcome back inside Castle Coliseum. Virginia Tech on top of UNC Asheville, 11-4. How about Kale Peterson knocking it down, Mac?
Knocking it down, but Carleigh Wenzel made the play with her penetration, found it wide open. Then she came back with a steal and score on her own. And the Hokies come out of the timeout with a little 2-3 zone.
Here's a deep 3, rattled off the right side of the rim, and a foul's called. UNC Asheville still trying to find their stride from beyond the arc. 0 of 5 now.
Yeah, neither team has done much. Hokies 1 for 2 after that last one by Peterson, and already the bonus for Virginia Tech.
Matilda Ekh to the free throw line for Virginia Tech. And knocks down the first. Here's this week's featured men's basketball games on the ACC network. It starts Friday night with a doubleheader, beginning with a Sunshine State rivalry between number 20 Florida and Florida State. And then you got number 10 North Carolina hosting American down in Chapel Hill. And then Saturday, freshman Cooper Flagg and Concanipple lead number 6 Duke against Wofford. That's right here on the ACC network.
Coach Lewis spent the entire time since the loss to Mercer working on the offense, trying to improve execution. That has not borne fruit so far tonight against Virginia Tech here in Blacksburg.
Another 3-ball off the mark, now 0 for 6 for UNC Asheville. McCann can't connect. Baker the tough rebound.
Got another wide open look right there after an offensive rebound. The Hokies starting to pull away a little bit.
Wenzel leans into one. How about the little move, though, for Carleigh Wenzel, the pump fake, creating a little bit of separation.
She has a lot of moves, and when she's going strong with that right hand, she can get all the way to the rim almost any time. Really a good athlete and can play both guard spots.
Led the team in scoring against Iowa with 14 points on Sunday.
And there's the foul over the back by Bree Thompson.
Kale Peterson at the stripe for Tech. Misses the first one. Peterson, her first free throws of the season. Makes the second.
She has some really good skills. I guess you describe her as a stretch 4, but she's really got guard skills.
We talked a lot in our first broadcast earlier this season, Mac, about her ability to stretch the floor. Nelson the rebound. Here comes Virginia Tech. Matilda Ekh attacking. Misha off the glass.
Not exactly as it was drawn up. Still ended up with 2 points, didn't it?
That's all that matters, right? Heard a quote from legendary Jim Boeheim. He said, anytime media reporters have questions about certain plays and how it was drawn up, he said, did the ball get in the bottom of the hoop? That's all that matters. It was a good play if it did. It was a bad play if it didn't.
Yeah, you won a lot of basketball games thinking like that. Kenzie Nelson with the foul, trying to get over his screen right there.
Dakota McCann been all over the place early for UNC Asheville. Jordan Tough checks back in.
It's the 4th foul for Virginia Tech. UNC Asheville could get to the free throw line if they can force the Hokies to foul them again here in the last minute and a half of the first quarter.
Lamani Simmons couldn't find it. Here's Nelson.
Simmons is their most explosive offensive player. She got all the way to the rim that time, but couldn't finish.
A lot of contact inside, and Rose Misha picks up her second.
And that's been a problem in these first couple games.
What is it, Mac? Is it a lack of awareness in certain situations? How do the fouls tally up like that?
Well, you know, we saw the first foul, which was, you know, a needless foul. You know, she already had the post player off the block, gave her an extra little push right there. That time, that foul you don't really mind as a coach because she was going hard after the offensive glass. You kind of live with those offensive rebounding fouls.
That's Bree Thompson, who's down for UNC Asheville. Thompson, a transfer from South Carolina State before last season.
And the recipient of a really prestigious award.
The Kay Yao Servant Leader Award. One of just 14 women's basketball student athletes across the country that were honored. Good to see her up.
You see just an incidental contact with Michal's elbow on the way down here. It gets it there, and then again there. All incidental contact, but a foul nonetheless. And Abigail Wilson would get to go to the free throw line for the first time for UNCA.
And Layla Wells checks in for Virginia Tech. And how about Ramaya White for the first time in the regular season?
Yeah, the 6'6" freshman out of Louisville. Big presence inside. She can finish through contact, rebounds the basketball. Certainly Virginia Tech's biggest player.
Wilson knocks down the first. Appeared in all 31 games last year, making 12 starts. Averaged just north of 5 points a game with 4 rebounds. And Tech looking to run once again. Down to White. Here's Wells. Back out Nelson. And we got a foul inside against White.
Yeah, she backed her man down and kept pushing. When you displace the defender, they're going to call that against the offense.
Ramaya White, the 3rd-ranked prospect and top-ranked center in the 2024 class out of Kentucky. She originally committed to Kentucky and followed Jen Hoover over to Virginia Tech.
Recruiting is about relationships. Jen Hoover, assistant on this staff, is a really fine coach and has had a great career. We'll talk about that Virginia Tech staff later in the game.
McCann with an air ball. Here's Ekh. Down low for Peterson. Fade away. You bet.
You see how calm Peterson was?
Sure.
You know, take your time in the post. Just a freshman. Very mature.
Could have a tremendously bright future here in Blacksburg. Off the mark inside for Menace. Here come the Hokies.
Menace with a nice move, but again, did not finish.
Nelson attacking at McCann. Loses her footing and will head the other way.
Hokies with their 7th turnover now. They've only had 1 in the last 4 minutes, though. They cleaned that up a little bit.
And the Bulldogs are just going to take it to the first break. 8 down, a power conference opponent. Looking to make a little bit of a comeback here in the second quarter tonight. 3 ball, off the mark.
Long rebounds, off long shots.
Asheville now 0 of 8 from beyond the arc tonight. Gonna look to lean on Lamani Simmons. Put back no good for Wilson. And here comes Virginia Tech.
A couple of second chances for the Bulldogs right there. Couldn't convert, and Ekh is wide open.
She can't find the basket. And up the floor moves UNC Asheville.
Ekh shot over 40% from 3 last year.
0 of 9 now from beyond the arc as Tough can't connect. Here's Baker. One more to White.
Gotta love that. Looking ahead, sharing the ball. Lonnie White running the floor. Good pass ahead by Wenzel. Then Baker finishes with the assist.
6 points in the season opener for Lonnie White last week. Transfer from Utah. Here's Tough on the left wing, checked by White. 12 seconds left to shoot for the Bulldogs. Tough calling for a screen, down to 6 to shoot. Attacking at White, pulls up, knocks it down.
Really nice job, backed off by the dribble a little bit. Tough with a good play and almost the steal right there.
And picks up the foul.
Virginia Tech has an advantage at almost every position with just a little bit of size, especially on the perimeter, where you have a Lonnie White at 5'11", a Wenzel at 6 feet, Ekh at 6 feet, Baker at 6'2".
How do you think that plays into this game, Mac, especially as we go down the stretch here and maybe you start to wear out the defense a little bit, because Virginia Tech is a little bit of a thinner team, right? Just 11 total players on the roster. You see UNC Asheville played 14 in the season opener.
Yeah, I don't think that's a factor unless Virginia Tech gets into foul trouble. They're in great shape, practice hard, used to the 5-on-5 without a lot of substitutions. And Virginia Tech's length is just a problem for a team that's already struggling offensively. This is a big challenge.
What does a player like Ramaya White bring to the table when you can give Rose Mishaw the opportunity to get off the floor as Ekh puts it up and in?
White is that, like we said, that physical presence, and if she can buy some time for Virginia Tech while Mishaw is on the bench, that's extremely valuable. She doesn't have to be productive. She just has to be a solid presence in there on both ends of the floor.
Wilson slings it off to Fields. 10 seconds left to shoot for the Bulldogs.
Good switch right there.
And there's nowhere for Fields to go, but she draws the foul.
Yeah, Hokies bailed her out that time. She was taking a bad shot. Let her take that shot. It's a contested shot. There she is off the dribble. Just stay straight up. You see Karis Baker come down with the arm. That's when they get you for the foul. You can build a wall. You can stay straight up right there and be just as effective.
Cal Peterson back on the floor for Virginia Tech. And the first free throw is good for Trinity Fields. Knocks down the second as well. Carleigh Wenzel for the Hokies. Off to Karis Baker.
Little flex action right there, little baseline cut. And another turnover. Coach Duffy won't be happy with that.
Tech now with its 8th turnover tonight. 6 on the other side for UNC Asheville. And it just feels like things are a little sloppy out of the gate for Virginia Tech this evening, Mac.
That's the right word.
How do they clean it up moving forward?
Well, just got to really take better care of the basketball, being stronger with the ball. And also got people who have to get open. Every pass is contested. Every dribble is contested. Got to execute offensively a little bit better.
Deep three for Tough. And that one misses. 0 of 10 from beyond the arc are the Bulldogs, and a foul goes against Fields.
Yeah, that far from the basket, unless you really have a great chance, great angle, probably need to let that one go. Trinity Fields, the sophomore out of Old Hickory, Tennessee. Brentwood High School. Great school in Nashville. See what the Hokies can execute.
They give it to Wenzel on the left wing. She looks to attack. Off the screen, heaves it, knocks it down. Carleigh Wenzel. She's got 4 now tonight for Virginia Tech, and a 14-point advantage for the Hokies. And an over and back.
Suffren calls Fields to pick it up at midcourt. Not a good decision by the point guard. Started the first game, came off the bench in this game for Coach Tanisha Lewis.
Carleigh Wenzel running the offense again for Virginia Tech. Mac, it's point guard by committee for this team. What is it about the Hokies attack when Wenzel's the one running the one?
Yeah, you know, she has such good vision. She has the most experience of anybody. So she gives it a different look in there.
A turnover.
Suffren's capable of playing out there. Mackenzie Nelson is capable of playing out there. Mackenzie Nelson probably the most true point guard, but all of them can be effective.
What a block by Cal Peterson.
There's that size, but failure to block out. You have to finish the defensive possession.
Sure.
Block shot, great. Finish the possession, get the rebound.
And one for Carleigh Wenzel.
Wenzel had 14 and 7 against Iowa, averaging 14 and 6 in the first 2 games.
The thing about Wenzel, Mac, is she's shining in the big moments, right? 11 points last year against Iowa, which was a big deal for her in her first action as a Hokie. And then 14 points this year against the Hawkeyes in Charlotte, 12 points in the NCAA tournament first round last year. She steps up when they need her the most.
Yeah, if you remember last year against Iowa, she was charged with guarding Caitlin Clark a whole lot of the game.
That's right.
And certainly was respectable.
What a spectacle that was down in Charlotte last year, the Ally tip-off.
It was just like a Final Four atmosphere a year ago, and of course another good crowd this year, but last year the Caitlin factor made it really special.
No doubt. You had that. You had Virginia Tech coming off the heels of a Final Four trip. That was like the national championship everybody wanted but never got. And they squared off early on in the next season. This year they added a pair of teams, NC State and South Carolina, and a foul drawn by Wenzel.
Yeah, last year they had a doubleheader with the men and the single game with the women.
We'll step aside on the ACC Network Extra. Hokies lead it big in the second quarter. Deep ties to the ACC, 2 former ACC head coaches on staff.
Yeah, and credit Coach Duffy with that move. She played at Notre Dame when they were in the Big East, not the ACC. So she hired people that are familiar with the ACC, and she was comfortable enough in her own skin to hire very experienced people. Not all head coaches are like that.
How much does it bring to the table when you have a deep plethora of experience and basketball knowledge on a staff, especially when you're a first-year head coach and a younger head coach in Megan Duffy?
Knowledge, lots of different experiences, lots of different opinions, and also lots of different recruiting contacts.
A foul on the other side, and UNC Asheville ready to head to the charity stripe.
Swift got to start at point guard. In Asheville, we knew they had struggled offensively against Mercer. They had a little time to work on it, but 4 of 24 from the field to start, just 12.5% here this evening against the Hokies defense.
And 0 of 10 from beyond the arc tonight. Second one from Swift, and it's through. 27-14, the new score here in Blacksburg. And a little bit of a press out of the Bulldogs, Matt.
Yeah, they'll give you some different looks. They like to press sometimes back to zone, sometimes back to man, and they like to play man-to-man in a half court, but they have played some zone also.
Karis Baker draws the foul. What do you like out of this lineup for the Hokies right here? You got Wenzel, Nelson, Suffren, a lot of speed on the floor, especially in the backcourt.
Yeah, and 3 ball handlers out there I really like. And of course, Baker is such a diverse player. She's long enough to play in the post, but really a great three-point threat. And Peterson, we've talked about how she stretches the floor. This is a really good offensive-looking team right here.
Karis Baker is in the box score. She's now got 2 points. Father Vin Baker played 15 seasons in the NBA, a 4-time All-Star, man.
Yeah, and she certainly has inherited a lot of his abilities. Karis Baker, and she's improved. She's getting a lot more chance. She was more of a complimentary player last year. She is trying to take on a bigger role for Megan Duffy.
Here she is with the block inside.
There's that length being a factor again. This time she stayed straight up rather than last time when she swung down with her arm.
She must have heard you over here.
I think so. She's coachable.
There you go. Here's Simmons attacking Wenzel and draws the foul. Lamani Simmons, 3rd on the team in scoring last year. Averaged just over 10 points a game coming off the bench. And they're really going to look to lean on her, right? Because the Bulldogs lost their 2 top scorers from a season ago to the transfer portal. Lamani Simmons is the most reliable returner.
Yeah, she averaged double figures last year, had 9 points against Mercer. Really an explosive athlete.
So the Hokies take Karis Baker out now with 2 fouls. Look at Megan Duffy coaching her up. What's that conversation like, man?
Yeah. I mean, Megan Duffy is doing a lot of coaching with this team because everything is new. The terminology is new. The style of play is new. And we're seeing some different combinations. Of course, you mentioned the Hokies don't have a ton of options. You see Rose Michaud back in the game.
Simmons knocks down both of them. And Virginia Tech moving up the floor. Wenzel unsettled. Nelson inside for Michaud. Pivots, puts it up, and through.
So effective. Just got to find a way to stay on the floor more minutes.
Averaging 13 a game, double figures in both games so far this season for Rose Michaud. What a leap from year 1 to year 2. And we're headed the other way. Such a big contributor in her time at Minnesota, and to Rose Michaud's credit, stuck around. At times, there was a stretch where she didn't have the opportunity to be on the floor, but then when her name was called heading into the NCAA tournament due to an injury to Liz Kitley, she was there, ready to roll, ready to ring the bell, and delivered.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, she has improved so much, and you're seeing the production. You just have to see a little bit more consistency on the defensive end.
Peterson at the stripe. Misses it short. Well, here's our Week 12 ACC Network football lineup. It begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern with number 19 Louisville and Stanford. And we capped it in Chapel Hill with North Carolina hosting Wake Forest at 8 Eastern. Both games are also available on the ESPN app.
It's been a crazy football season nationally and in the ACC. And I think we're going to see more and more of that in basketball too. Hokies take another charge, going the other way with the turnover.
That's what you get with this modern era. You introduce the transfer portal and NIL, and year to year, everything across the board can be chaotic.
Lots of newcomers everywhere. The first thing we say at the beginning of every broadcast is we tell how many newcomers there are on both teams. And that takes a while to do, and it makes it really unpredictable.
Jordan Tuff heads to the bench for UNC Asheville. Mac, that's her 4th foul. Here's Wenzel. Draws the foul herself and will head to the line.
Like the little curl cut right there, get it into the lane.
Number 1, Carleigh Wenzel, shooting 2.
Wenzel now with her 2nd trip to the stripe. 1 of 1 so far tonight with the and 1.
Carleigh with from a basketball family. Brother plays at TCU now.
A San Antonio, Texas native. Redshirted in 2022-2023. Was a 4-star recruit, though. Ranked 94th nationally, according to ESPN, coming into Virginia Tech. And another one that's trusting the process, staying put through the coaching change. There's a lob inside. And the bucket's good for Menace.
Yeah, it's no coincidence that the 4 leading scorers are returnees from a year ago for Virginia Tech.
Mishaw put back. And she'll head to the strike.
Wenzel, Mishaw, Baker, and Ekh all averaging in double figures here early in the season.
That's the 16th foul against UNC Asheville so far tonight. Five players with 2 fouls. Jordan Tuff on the bench with 4. And Mishaw misses the first.
Hokies have played 10. UNC Asheville has played 12 already.
(34-18), the lead extended for the Hokies. And taking a look at the foul trouble for the Bulldogs early on tonight, Mac.
Hokies attack, that's going to be a part of their game plan each time out all season long. Whether it's in transition or trying to get downhill on the half court.
Ramaya White back onto the floor. Rose Mishaw is out.
Got a few minutes out of her. Got some points out of her with those 2 fouls without picking up that 3rd foul.
Let's see what Simmons can do off the screen. Attacking at Peterson. Spins and draws the foul. Goes against Lonnie White.
Yeah, again, when you've got a player taking a reverse pivot, fall away shot, let them take that shot. Just contest the shot, get the rebound. Don't put them on the free throw line.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's done that a little bit tonight, right? Send them to the stripe on a low percentage shot. Simmons, 83% free throw shooter through 1 game so far this season. Knocks down the first.
Bulldogs are shooting 19% while Virginia Tech is shooting 63%. If the Hokies could eliminate the turnovers, they would be having a really good offensive half.
Came right at us, Mac. Right off the monitor.
I was impressed with your hands.
I was a lacrosse goalie, so.
Oh, well, that explains that.
Not that it's the same thing in any way.
Skills.
But
Skills.
It's the quick hand reactions that you got to be on top of.
Color me impressed.
There's a lob down to the low block for Menace. Out to Wilson. Can't connect from inside the arc. Virginia Tech moving the other way. Peterson in transition. Wenzel able to save it, and it's taken away by the Bulldogs. Wilkins lays it up and in.
That's what we talked about, the turnovers, which will drive Coach Duffy crazy over there on the sideline.
13 for Virginia Tech, 10 for UNC Asheville, with just north of a minute and a half left to play in this first half. You know, this lead starting to get trimmed down just a little bit. UNC Asheville very much so staying in this thing.
And what we've been talking about, Virginia Tech turnovers, that's 12. This one leading directly to a basket on the other side. There's one on the baseline. There's another one with the baseline drive. Active hands by the defense. Push off right there, sending it the other way. They turned it over in a variety of ways, and the last time saved the ball into the middle of the court where Asheville was able to get the ball and finish on the other end.
Last season, Virginia Tech, 3rd in the ACC in fewest turnovers, did a really nice job of taking care of the basketball, a huge reason as to why they were ACC regular season champions. They're already almost at their average so far tonight, Mac, and it's not halftime.
Yeah, and that will be the point of emphasis with Coach Duffy at the halftime talk.
Lonnie White, hard to the tin, a little out of control.
Yeah, that shot was almost a turnover.
Well, the Hokies will hang on to it as White checks out. Matilda Ekh substitutes in her place.
See what the Hokies draw up right here.
Nelson into Peterson. Back to the basket, fades away, puts it in.
I love how calm she is. Nothing rushed, no urgency. Just take your time and see what the defense gives you.
Does that look a little familiar with a certain
That's
post
a little
player
bit.
over the last couple of years here in Blacksburg?
Minus 6 inches, but
Sure,
yes.
sure.
Liz Kitley, ACC Player of the Year.
3 times.
Yep.
33 is going to go up in the rafters in January here at Castle Coliseum. 3 ball off the mark for Simmons, and another foul.
Both teams in the bonus. Coach Lewis admonishing her troops. She knew with this many newcomers that she was going to have a real challenge, but she's certainly looking at it as an opportunity also. Had a handful of returnees, not a lot of production coming back. Lamani Simmons, probably the most productive, averaged double figures a year ago, but brought some nice pieces in from other schools.
3rd trip to the stripe for Wenzel, and makes both of them. She's perfect from the line.
Wenzel into double figures for the Hokies. Cale Peterson with 8 next for Virginia Tech.
Wenzel's got 11, 3 rebounds and a pair of steals on top of it. And a travel violation. Simmons didn't like it.
23 turnovers now combined for these two teams in this first half. Probably not putting this video in the Hall of Fame this first half.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
But we've got 20 more minutes, right?
And we got Mac McCarthy on the mic, so it's always, always Hall of Fame worthy. Ekh from the corner. You bet. Well, there's a good end of the half for Virginia Tech. Matilda Ekh finds the deep ball from the corner, Mac.
A little bit of momentum
Tonight so far, Wenzel. Mishaw back to the basket. 12 to shoot for Carleigh Wenzel. Pulls up, knocks it down.
Really has a lot of diversity in her game. We've seen her go all the way to the hole, especially with that right hand. We've seen the mid-range, and obviously she can shoot the long-range 3 as well.
She's got 13 now tonight, 4 of 7 from the floor, and a jump ball.
Possession stays with the Bulldogs. Reset the shot clock.
Alana Swift to inbound underneath the basket. Bailey pondered a 3.
Bailey getting the start here in the second half.
What are you seeing in the mix-up of the lineup for the Bulldogs in half number 2?
I think it's just what you said early on in the broadcast. So a lot of experimentation. See who can play when the lights go on. It's one thing to be good in practice. It's another thing to be good in a game situation.
Worth noting, Mac, Brianna Thompson left the game for UNC Asheville, went to the locker room, has not returned since. Wenzel cleans up the mess.
Great hustle right there by UNC Asheville to block that layup, but Hokies running down floor, not assuming that Mishaw was going to lay that ball in.
Carleigh Wenzel now with a career high of 15. Here's Swift once again. Lobs it down inside. And a nice tough bucket for Abigail Wilson. Maybe they can get her going in the second half.
Yeah, nice deep post up by her, and then Carleigh Wenzel again with a little bit of disruption. Swift came at her and turns the ball over, and we're continuing with the first half theme.
She was just so excited to get down there and try and score once again. She tried to take it away right there.
Almost got that opportunity.
Instead, it's unsettled for Swift. That one falls short.
Yeah, that's a tough contested shot right there. That will lead to shooting 20%.
No look, Lonnie White off to Mishaw. Off the glass and through.
Mishaw has proven very effective, very methodical down low, really strong.
Mishaw now with 7 points tonight.
Yeah, and Lonnie White with the little shove right there, knocked Simmons to the floor.
Curious to see if Simmons can get going in the second half. Held to just 4 points in half number 1.
Just a trip and a little push. Could have called that on Wenzel or Lonnie White, to be honest. Didn't see the trip in live time.
There's Simmons right there, 0 of 5 from the floor. All 4 points coming from the free throw line. Now make her 1 for 6.
Right on cue. Good call, partner.
Here's Wenzel out to Ekh. Pulls up, puts it through.
You know, she was almost strictly a spot-up three-point shooter a year ago, but she really does have some diversity in her game. That's a nice mid-range, and she can finish around the rim, too. Big, strong wing.
Coach Duffy has talked about how she wants to use Matilda more like she was used at Michigan State, a true 3-level scorer.
Right, exactly, and that was a good look that time. Baker into Mishaw, and Baker's going to draw the defense because she's such a good three-point threat, so she's going to have some opportunities to throw the ball inside.
Virginia Tech to inbound once again. A little bit of a taller lineup on the floor now. No Nelson, no Suffren. Wenzel, a tall guard. Lonnie White, a tall guard. Matilda Ekh. Some size for the Hokies, man.
Yeah, the overall size. The Hokies are never going to be really big in the post. They don't have that many other than Samyha White. They don't have that height, but they can put a big lineup on the floor across the board. And that long lineup, that tall lineup, especially on the perimeter, did cause the Bulldogs a little bit of trouble in that first half.
Samyha White, the tallest player for Virginia Tech at 6'5". Rose Mishaw listed at 6'2". Here's Lonnie White, driving baseline, turns, fires, air ball. In transition, the Bulldogs. Here's Simmons. Tough defense by Carleigh Wenzel to jar it loose.
Carleigh came up with the steal and then immediately lost it out of bounds. Never really got control of it. Mackenzie Nelson gave the Hokies a good lift in the first half when she first came in. See if she does that here in the second half.
Averaging 5.5 points through 2 games, but it feels like Nelson does all the small things for this team. Very gritty, can be explosive in transition, engineering this offense. And Virginia Tech leads it 49-26 here in Blacksburg. Hero and Virginia Tech alum as we celebrate Veterans Day here in Blacksburg. Mac, of course, with the Corps of Cadets, deep military ties to this university.
Yeah, it's really a special part of Virginia Tech legacy.
And Virginia Tech leads it 49-26 over UNC Asheville here. Third quarter action inside Castle Coliseum. What a pass. Ekh finds Mishaw for 2.
Really nice job. Quick reversal. Defense didn't react quick enough into the post, and Mishaw with a really nice score.
Swift pulls up. Right elbow jumper is pure.
It's a good play. She could have taken another dribble or two, but she'd have been in amongst the trees. She pulled up before they could contest her shot. Nice decision by Alana Swift at her 5th school, as you mentioned.
She's got 8 points now tonight for the Bulldogs. And a foul. Samyha Suffren checks back in for Virginia Tech, and maybe a much-deserved rest for Carleigh Wenzel, tonight's leading scorer thus far tonight.
A little different look now with Suffren and Nelson in the backcourt.
10 seconds left to shoot for Suffren. Nelson attacking with 5, driving baseline with 3. Ekh at the buzzer, off the glass and in.
You love that possession. Make the defense play for 30 seconds and then stick it in the basket at the buzzer. That's so disheartening as a defender.
And Tech gets it right back nearly immediately. What an outlet. Karis Baker on the other end.
I think Karis Baker is going to get some rim runs this year. She can fly down the floor.
Swift gets the basketball once again, knifes her way inside, and quite contested, puts it off the glass and in.
You see why Coach Lewis inserted her into that starting lineup.
They create the turnover. Virginia Tech now up to 14 turnovers tonight. And the three ball's good from the far side. Taylor Wilkins, her first trifecta. And that's UNC Asheville's first successful three-pointer tonight. They're 1 of 14.
The McNeese State transfer, no hesitation. We haven't made any, I don't care.
Mishaw can't finish. And Swift draws the foul.
Yeah, that's the danger of getting too far under there. Hokies looking to throw it ahead. Karis Baker says, thank you very much.
We're having fun on a Wednesday night here inside Castle Coliseum. Third quarter action. Virginia Tech leads at 55-33 over UNC Asheville. Mac, it's no wonder that the Hokies have been so successful in this building the last 2 years. 32-2 at home heading into this season. It's because these Hokie fans know how to have a lot of fun.
They do have a lot of fun. Always a good atmosphere here in Castle. A steep seating area really makes the noise stay right here. 16-1 a year ago at home.
There's Swift at the free throw line. Makes both of them.
Now in double figures, Alana Swift is.
She's got 10 points. Leads all Bulldogs in the box score. Here's Virginia Tech on the other end. Suffren drives baseline, off the glass and in.
A completely different look when Samyha Suffren is in. Really effective at beating her person off the dribble.
So fast, so explosive. Simmons, and she walked with it.
And credit Suffren with really good defense. Stayed down, stayed in a stance. Simmons with the turnover.
Mackenzie Nelson engineering the offense for Virginia Tech. Check by Simmons. Swings it back off to Suffren. Bounce pass for Mishaw. No doubt about it, Max.
11 points for Rose Mishaw. Hokies with 3 players in double figures midway here through the third quarter.
Mishaw an efficient 5 of 7 from the floor. Has stayed out of foul trouble for the most part as well. Has just 2 fouls. Cal Peterson draws that one.
Yeah, and the people leading the way for the Hokies, not only tonight, but this season, the top 4 scorers for the Hokies are all returnees. That's not a coincidence. That's what the experience is worth.
3 players in double figures for Virginia Tech. In the season opener against UNCW, had 5 scorers in double figures.
And I think that's the way this team's going to be. I'm sure you'll get somebody bust the 20 mark, but you're not going to have a 30, 35-point scorer like a Liz Kitley. You're going to have to do it with balanced scoring, and I think the Hokies can do that.
McCann, 5 seconds left to shoot. Inside, and the layup is true. Nice pass, found Laney Bone on the right block. Suffren, you bet.
Very comfortable in that mid-range. Samyha Suffren out of Charlotte, the Cannon School.
Foul off the ball once again.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious.
A little out of control that time for Laney Bone, the transfer out of Longwood.
You see good position, Kale Peterson. She does a lot of things right for a freshman.
Does she play wise beyond her years at this point?
Not a question. Not a question. We've seen her be so calm down low. And we're going to get a charge the other way with Mackenzie Nelson.
Mackenzie Nelson with her second personal foul.
Redshirted as a freshman last year, waited her chance. Good vocal leader on this basketball team.
2023 Connecticut Gatorade Player of the Year. Super scrappy defender for Tech.
Again, Bone with the offensive foul.
And who draws it? None other than Cal Peterson.
She drew both of those, obviously. One in transition, that one into half court. Watch get good position. Not too many charges you see taken in the back, but but clearly an offensive foul.
Sure. Ramaya White ready to check in for Virginia Tech. She steps in place of Cal Peterson.
Had not played, but getting significant minutes here tonight.
She's had 6 minutes thus far, adding on to it in the third quarter. Karis Baker, Wells for three. An air ball, and here come the Bulldogs. McCann, Wilkins steps in. Hesitated a little bit, Mac, took that extra step, couldn't find it.
Baker doing a good job pushing in transition. Asheville gets back, rear will, 5-on-5. Beat the ball back down the floor.
Nelson. And a foul off the ball.
A 3-second violation actually that time. I thought the same thing when I first saw it, but Ramaya White was hung out a little bit. She was open, asking for the ball. Hokies couldn't get it to her.
Sure.
Good pressure on the basketball by UNC Asheville, kept the ball from going into White when she was open. Carleigh Wenzel back in the game.
Three ball, and it's good.
How about that, Laney Bone? Back from one of my hometowns, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Went to Cleveland State, right outside Chattanooga, and then to Longwood, and now to UNC Asheville. She's been active on both ends. Nice three-point shot, a couple charges.
Mac, have you ever been to Chattanooga, Tennessee?
I have lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee for many years.
Trip to the Sweet 16?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We had some good basketball teams back in the day. They have great women's basketball there. Sean Poppy, who was an assistant here.
That's right.
Won a couple championships. Now is the coach at Clemson. Of course, Wes Moore at NC State was there for 16 years. I think he won 15 championships in 16 years.
Big one coming up for Sean Poppy and the Clemson Tigers next week, Mac. They play South Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know who scheduled that game.
A rivalry game, but that'll be a big test for Sean Poppy and crew. South Carolina just took care of NC State on Sunday in the Ally tip-off.
They had a big lead. NC State made a big comeback, but South Carolina, they are awfully good, as we saw a year ago.
McCann tries to get it inside. Tech with another takeaway. Suffren up to Wenzel. Lays it up and in inside a minute left in the third quarter.
Those high percentage looks. Hokies now over 65% for the game. Partly because of transition layups.
They haven't shot the three ball tonight, Mac. Just 2 of 6 from beyond the arc.
Haven't had to, and they've been disciplined enough to attack the rim or get it inside to the post in the half court.
Bone stands straight away. Contested handoff to Wilkins. She attacks. And a nice take to the tin for Jocelyn Ware.
Freshman out of McDonough, Georgia, just south of Atlanta.
Here's Wenzel, 4 seconds, off the glass and in again, knifing her way through the defense.
Great awareness in just 12 minutes.
Rose Mishaw, a player for Virginia Tech that looking to have a big impact in year number 2 here in Blacksburg. Transfer from Minnesota heading into last season. Cal Peterson to inbound for Tech. 25-point advantage for the Hokies to open up the fourth quarter. Wenzel off the screen and a foul.
Offensive foul against Rose Mishaw. Those are avoidable. Of course, it takes two in that situation. Sometimes the dribbler takes off before the screener gets set. Sometimes the screener is the offender, but the screener gets called for the foul either way, and Rose Mishaw heads back to the bench.
Third personal for Rose Mishaw. That brings Romaya White back into the mix, and jogging off, Mishaw says, "Come on, coach, let me stay in here."
No player ever wants to come out.
Never. That's a good thing, right?
It is.
Wilson can't connect from the free throw line. Wells the rebound. And Virginia Tech up the floor. Wenzel lobs it inside, was looking for White. And another turnover for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, that pass was never open right there. You got to take the ball to the weak side, swing it side to side. Very seldom do you get one just staying on the strong side. A pass that easy to the post.
18 turnovers for the Hokies and a travel violation against Lamani Simmons.
Yeah, she knew it herself, called it before the official did.
Tech has somewhat held her in check. 6 points, just 1 of 7 from the floor for Simmons. Leading scorer is Alana Swift for the Bulldogs. Matilda Ekh on the other side.
There's the third level of that scoring. We've seen the three, we've seen the mid-range. Now we see taking it to the rim.
Ekh now with 13 tonight. Here's Swift, checked by Wenzel. Wilson with a pump fake, pulls up, knocks it down.
Abigail Wilson out of China Grove, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. West Rowan.
One of the mainstays entering her 5th season with UNC Asheville.
She's played over 100 games at UNC Asheville. It doesn't happen that often at smaller schools anymore where you stay that long.
Sure. Tech with a couple of chances, couldn't convert. Carleigh Wenzel punches it out of bounds. She plays with a little bit of a fire to her, doesn't she, Mac?
She does. She is always excited, and usually exciting.
Leads all scorers tonight with 19 points.
She does not hide her emotions at all.
San Antonio, Texas native. Carleigh will be the first to tell you, too. She absolutely loves the color pink. Everything's pink for Carleigh Wenzel. It's such a big piece of her personality that it's highlighted in the game notes. Rarely do you get something like that, but they make it a point for Carleigh Wenzel. You got to know that everything's pink.
Carter Brown, Sports Information Office, with a nugget.
They do such a tremendous job making our job easy.
Jake Miller and Carter Brown tonight, the two media relations guys that we've dealt with, have both been very helpful in preparing us for this broadcast.
Another player that's been held a little bit in check has been Sarah Menace, just 2 points tonight.
And she's got some ability, and I got to think in the Big South, she'll have a size advantage most nights.
Sure.
She could be productive, scoring double figures. You know she's going to get some rebounds with her size and athleticism.
6'3", former McDonald's All-American nominee. Spent her freshman year at UVA. Peterson falls short. Scrum for it. And Tech can't keep it in bounds.
Now, I've gotten to see several of these players at different schools. So at Rose Mishaw, Minnesota, in a game at UVA. And
wow.
Had Menace at Virginia, and had her a couple times at Asheville now, following this transfer portal.
Okay. Menace lobs it inside for Wilson. She fades away, knocks it down. Up and over Cal Peterson. What a bucket.
Wilson did a nice job of backing Peterson down low, creating some space. Did the sweet turnaround jump shot for Abigail.
It's enough for Megan Duffy to call a timeout here with just over 7 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. 69-47, Virginia Tech in front. Championships. Big one here Friday for Virginia Tech women's soccer, Mac. They played in the ACC championships. Now they're in the NCAA tournament. They host Tennessee.
Very big deal. Looking forward to that.
Virginia Tech women's basketball leads at 69-47. Karis Baker doing what she does.
Women's basketball coming this week on Saturday afternoon too. After the soccer, really nice position with that left hand protecting the basketball. She's going to be a tough matchup. You've got to have somebody quick enough to guard her on the perimeter, but big enough to challenge her down low. Karis Baker, a really bright future for the Hokies.
To your point, Mac, a huge weekend across Virginia Tech athletics. Women's basketball in this building Saturday. The men play in Baltimore on Friday. Here's Wilson, an air ball. They get the offensive rebound. It ends up in the lap of Swift with 8 to shoot. Pulls up and puts it through.
He is having quite the second half. 12 points down, 4 out of 5 from the field. Been to the free throw line, 4 out of 5 there.
Alana Swift. Here's Baker. Rips it inside for Mishaw. And she lost it. Last touchdown low by Menace will stay down here.
Rose has to be alert for help coming once she gets it in the post. But she is a consistent enough scorer that you're going to have to run someone else at her. You're going to have to be aware of that and be able to pass the ball out of the post on occasion. May have gotten another, no?
Only got a foul.
There were a couple fouls on that play, but the one they got was on Skylar Bailey for UNC Asheville.
Well, the player that's got to be careful, Jordan Tuff, she's got 4 personal fouls. They spent a lot of time on the bench due to that. There's Suffren attacking. Finds Baker. It's good ball movement. Mac just couldn't finish.
Yeah, you get that wide open shot from a shooter like Baker, that was a win.
Swift again, what a move.
When she goes a little too far, she has trouble. Better at that mid-range.
Lost it, mid-shot there. Here's Bailey. Check by Nelson. 6 seconds to shoot for Menace with her back to the basket. Hands it off for Tuff with 2. The floater falls short. Offensive board. Tuff again. That time she's money.
Keep shooting. Shooters keep shooting. At 6 and 3 against Mercer.
Cuts the lead down to 20. Does the basket count? What do you think, Mac? And one?
Count and
count
one.
It.
And one.
Basket is good for number 1, Carleigh Wenzel. She was fouled.
There's that shot for Tuff. Just inside the 3-point arc.
Get an offensive rebound and kick it out, you're going to have somebody wide open. Hokies couldn't close out quick enough, and Tuff took advantage.
Wenzel with her 4th trip to the stripe. That's her 2nd and 1. Now 6 of 6 from the free throw line. And she's got 22 points to lead all scorers.
6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. She is stuffing that stat sheet.
There's Nelson, pesky on defense. Nearly able to create a transition opportunity.
This is pesky. That's a good word. She has good hands, gets their hands on the ball an awful lot.
Wilkins with it for UNC Asheville, 15 to shoot. Tuff playing with 4 fouls, calling for a screen. Steps back on Baker and rattles it home.
Nice play. Asheville's continued to play hard, and Coach Lewis is finally seeing some offense that she's been waiting for.
Cuts the lead to 21. Nelson off a screen. Baker for three. Suffren tried to save it. We'll head the other way. It's a good look for Karis Baker, though. Straight away.
Yeah, and she shot it in rhythm, got a good look at it. Michelle got her hands on the offensive rebound. Suffren tried to save it.
That's just Virginia Tech's 7th three-point field goal attempt tonight. They're 2 of 7, but Mac, to your credit, as you mentioned, they haven't needed to shoot the three ball.
Exactly. Got baskets in transition, got baskets in the post, got baskets off the dribble. Coach Duffy will take that. That's why they're shooting 60% from the field still late in this game.
UNC Asheville still not going down without a fight. There's Rose Mishaw. Samyha Suffren off the screen. Lightning fast to the rim.
You said it earlier, explosive is what she is.
I mean, you blink and she's to the tin, man. And we got biscuits inside Castle Coliseum.
That's what that cheer was about.
That's what it was. So for those that don't know, when Virginia Tech hits 75, everybody gets free biscuits on their way out.
Bojangles.
I was told heading into tonight to ask you about the all-famous cheddar bow.
Cheddar bow.
So this is your favorite, I've heard, but you can only get it in certain places.
Eastern North Carolina, although I have discovered, having just moved to Richmond, Virginia, there's one near me that actually has the cheddar bow, which was a pleasant surprise for me. My wife was not so encouraged.
I know what to get you for Christmas next time. Is it bowberry or cinnamon for you?
Oh, bowberries. Bowberries.
That's the way to go.
Cinnamon.
Okay.
Yeah. As a connoisseur of these biscuits, yes. You got Cajun filet. You got the, you got the cheddar bow. And you got the bowberry.
There you go. I beg to differ because I love good cinnamon.
Okay.
But I think you would know a little bit better than me. You sound like a seasoned vet.
I've done a lot of research on it.
There you go. The cheddar bow, I'm going to have to give that one a try.
It's outstanding. Highly recommend it.
UNC Asheville on the other side. Bones fades away. Can't connect. Carleigh Wenzel, still scrappy, flying all over the place, pulls down the rebound. And draws the foul.
Trinity Fields, she's committed a couple fouls in the backcourt like that.
If you're Virginia Tech, Mac, 2-0 at home, heading into that Iowa game, you kind of said, look, here's an opportunity. No matter what happens, you're going to learn a lot about yourselves. And then you can flush it, win or loss, and move on and build off of it. Where does this team go from here?
Yeah, no, this is what's going on right now in the November games and even into December. Coach Duffy is learning who she can count on, who she can trust, she can trust with the basketball, she can trust in big moments. And the players are learning how they can trust each other.
Oh, we mentioned it, Virginia Tech. Next game here at home against Coppin State. That'll be on Saturday afternoon. You can watch it right here, 2 p.m. on the ACC Network Extra.
We'll bring it to you.
And the layup is good on the other end for Taylor Wilkins.
UNC Asheville's gotten a little more confidence here in the second half. Scored 20 points in that third quarter, and they've got 15 already here in the fourth quarter.
You think they found something here, something to build off of?
I think they just settled down. I think they were a little bit intimidated by the crowd and the program that they were facing here.
Sure. Lonnie White, nice move. Can't finish. Peterson, the putback is in.
Mishaw kept it alive. Peterson finished the deal.
Cal Peterson. So excited to see how she grows throughout this season. She's now in double figures with 10.
The first non-returnee to get to double figures.
And with that, for the second home game in a row, That's 5 Hokies in double figures tonight, Matt.
Yep, and I don't think that's an aberration. I think that's going to be a trend. It's got to be balanced scoring for Virginia Tech to be successful.
And a timeout, so some substitutions can be made. Samyha White to check back in.
That is a 30-second timeout.
Quick 30-second timeout on the floor, Mac.
10 Hokies have played.
10 of the 11. How about that?
Wells and White are the 2 that haven't scored out of those 10 so far. That could change right here.
White couldn't finish through the contact. Here's Trinity Fields up the floor. Wilkins for 3. And a foul. Man, Peterson's taking some hits tonight, man.
I think she has taken some and delivered some
Yeah,
also.
that's fair.
She's a physical player, but just love her skills and love her maturity and the fact that she is just calm out there. The moment is not too big for her.
Foul called as Suffren was trying to streak up the floor with it.
Virginia Tech foul number 12, Samyha Suffren. Her second personal.
Suffren picks up her second personal.
4th Hokies foul. Asheville not yet in the bonus.
Wilkins off the bank and through.
Basket for number 2, Taylor Wilkins.
Cuts the lead down to 19. Lonnie White. And a blocking foul.
It's still being a physical game, both teams being aggressive. Every player out there playing for more minutes, gaining experience.
Number 0, Lonnie
Nice
White.
job getting the feet set for Taylor Wilkins out of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Lonnie White's first free throw is good. Transfer from Utah. Played 2 seasons for the Utes, 57 total games. Dad Rodney White, a legend
At
at
UNC
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Spent 4 years in the NBA.
One minute remaining.
Bones can't connect. Omac, UNC Asheville finally gets to return back home. We talked about the adversity that they faced due to the hurricane. First home game coming up.
Yeah, in Charlotte, ironically, where they spent nearly a month
Number 2, Layla Wells.
in relief of Hurricane Helene, and the only home game they'll play in the month of November.
Yeah, and then they go on the road for 4 consecutive. Greensboro, Loyola up in Maryland, Wofford, and Tennessee State. Second one's good for Lonnie White. Inside a minute left to play in this 4th quarter here in Blacksburg. 21-point cushion for Virginia Tech. Fields. The deep 2 off the mark. Here's Peterson, out of Nelson. Tech still running the floor. Wells lays it up.
Uses that athleticism to get all the way to the rim. Great speed, a track champion, state track champion in high school. Think of the hurdles.
Yeah. Now Wells with her first points of the night. She's got 2. 9 of the 10 Hokies to hit the floor have scored. Down to 10 seconds left to play. Fields, stripped by Nelson.
She'll hold it up. Coach Duffy gives her the signal. The Hokies go 2-0 at home.
Virginia Tech bounces back with an 85-62 win over UNC Asheville here in Blacksburg.